In this video, we're going to discuss how ambitious can Disneyland Forward actually get? Is it restricted? Is it limited as to what it can do, as to what it can accomplish because of where the Disneyland Resort sits? I'm going to talk about it with you today. I'm flying solo on this episode of OG 55. Welcome aboard to another episode of OG 55. In this video, we're going to talk about realistically how ambitious can this Disneyland Forward project get. I was watching a fantastic video the other day from Fresh Baked Dave. He did a video actually on this topic, and he touched upon some things in there that I kind of want to discuss here on this video. And let's go ahead and play what he said. And then on the tail end of that, after that video, we'll go ahead and analyze it and break it down. Here we go. This is Dave, Fresh Baked.
Now, speaking of that actual substance, that announcement that came almost, it was a year and a half ago, that announcement came with a single piece of concept art that we all tried to glean some information from. We had some fun trying to figure out what their plans were. But since then, I have found a couple things that have me a bit concerned about how ambitious this project really can be. The plan suggests the expansion will happen in the Simba lot on the left and the downtown Disney and Disneyland Hotel parking lots on the right in this concept art. The suggestion also is that the left side would expand for DCA and the right side would be an expansion of Disneyland, with downtown Disney being extended right through the middle. My first concern is Walnut Avenue. That's the street in the rear that runs parallel to this property. On the other side of Walnut Avenue, that faded area back there, that's all residential tract, apartments and homes. Note that there are no other cases on the Disneyland Resort property where actual theme park runs up borders residential zoned areas. DCA on Catella, that's all hotels. That's the Anaheim Convention Center. Then on the opposite side, Disneyland, they run up against Ball Road, a freeway, and then more hotels, but no residential. Now, that's where I start to think about sound ordinances. There have to be sound ordinances that would limit Disney's ability to put theme park right up against Walnut Avenue. I don't think you could build proper theme park right up against Walnut without some sort of sound buffer in between. Couple that with the fact that I see very little in the way of backstage operations. The top left, top right, and bottom left corners of this concept art all appear to show actual theme park being developed right up on the edges. Now, before I continue, I understand this is just concept art. I've said myself, don't believe anything that you see in this concept art. It is all just mythical. But I do mention these things. I do have this conversation, if only to temper people's enthusiasm for what the expectations might be. Temper, like we're going to get something grand and amazing on these, on this property.
Okay, so fascinating insight from Dave over there at Fresh Baked. Now, so he kind of makes the case because it's so close to those residential housing areas. The scale and scope of what they do in this property is going to be very limited. Well, I have a little something that might actually encourage Dave and make him a little more optimistic as to what they can do here in this stretch of property. And it's actually in regards to Disneyland's neighbor, Knott's Berry Farm. Okay, so now this is Knott's Berry Farm. Now, huge preface here. This is not in Anaheim. It's in Orange County, but it's actually located in the city of Buena Park. So it might be different in Anaheim, but in my opinion, probably not. I think Anaheim and Buena Park probably have very similar rules in regards to this kind of thing, like sound ordinances and stuff like that. I would imagine it'd be very, very similar. So this is an aerial shot from Google in regards to Knott's Berry Farm. Here is the proper theme park, and then they have a sister park, Knott's Soak City. It's like a water park over here located, right? Now, if you look at the property, if you look at the Knott's Resort, so to speak, you'll see, here's Knott's Berry Farm, and you'll see it butts up right against homes. There are literally homes right up against it with very little buffer blocking that sound. Very little buffer. Now, if you go over to the Soak City, sorry for my for my Googling, it's a little all over the place. But if you go over to Soak City, it's even worse. I mean, look, there's no space. There's no boundary, just a line of trees. It's a line of trees. So assuming that Anaheim is similar to Buena Park in regards to sound ordinances and things like that, like what Dave mentioned, I don't think Disney's going to have a problem with that piece of land butting up against those homes. I really don't. I think they're going to have pretty much free reign to do what they want. I mean, Knott's is enjoying it. They're able to do it. I don't see why Disneyland Resort wouldn't be able to do it, right? And now another thing that he brings up in this video is he brings up like the backstage area and what have you. This is becoming less and less of an issue for theme parks in the Disneyland Resort. We've seen it now, well, twice on two big occasions. They've removed backstage buildings and what have you for Galaxy's Edge, and quite a bit of it too. It garnered like 14 or 15 acres for Galaxy's Edge. So they removed it. From what I understand, a lot of that backstage stuff was moved even off property. Okay. Then they went even further and they removed more backstage to make way for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. It's kind of like an old school idea that the backstage needs to be part of the park or connected to the park. Disney is sort of bucking that tradition in a lot of ways, and those two big projects have sort of proven that. So the fact that there's no room for a backstage area in that Disneyland Forward piece of land, I don't think really matters. Disney is showing they can do without the backstage areas being directly part of the park. They've done it with Batu, and they're doing it with Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. So interesting stuff. So Dave, don't lose hope. Don't lose hope, my friend. It is very, very possible that the ordinances for Anaheim are very similar to that of Buena Park, and Disney will pretty much have freedom to do what they want. It's looking like Knott's is. There's really not much of a berm protecting the residential homes over there in Buena Park from Soak City or Knott's proper. So good news if you are a Disney fan. Maybe not so good news if you live in those homes, though. Okay, to be fair. Okay, another thing that I want to bring up, and this is unrelated to Dave's video, but it is connected to Disneyland Forward. And it's this. Okay, so this is what is currently the Toy Story parking lot. And a lot of fans kind of jumped on this, right? A lot of fans kind of jumped on this art and said, oh, see, it's not going to be a third park. I guess we're going to be stuck with like a hotel and like some retail. And that's it. Basically, what amounts to a Disney Springs West is basically what this looks like. And there was a lot of doom and gloom out there about like, yeah, just get used to the fact that Disneyland Resort's only going to have two parks forever because it looks like they're not going to do that third park in Toy Story. This is complete and total bullshit, you guys. Okay. Because look, here's the thing. The whole point of Disneyland Forward is to sell the city the idea of expanding the zoning freedom for the resort. Okay. This piece of property, the Toy Story lot, is already zoned to be a theme park, is already zoned for theme park. And it's been that way for a long time. I believe actually since the Michael Eisner era. Okay. So why would Disney put a theme park in the concept art trying to get new zoning, more zoning from the city? Why would they put a theme park there if they already have the zoning for that? They wouldn't. It doesn't make any sense, right? So what they did was they put things in there that they need the zoning for. Okay, so maybe they need retail zoning, restaurant, eatery zoning. Maybe they need hotel zoning. So that's why in the art, you're seeing that approach, not because Disney doesn't want to build a theme park there. Look, you guys, there's plenty of space here, and I'm going to get into it in a minute. Believe me, I'm going to get into it in a minute, but there's plenty of space here in the Toy Story lot for a theme park. Disney would be insanely stupid to waste 75 plus acres on more retail and dining. Okay, when they're so limited with a finite amount of space here at Disneyland Resort, they're going to blow that amount of land on shops and restaurants. I don't buy it for a second, you guys. It's not happening. The concept art is only the way it is because Disney's trying to get more zoning freedom. They want to get this restaurant and dining, etc. zoning because they already have the theme park zoning. Okay, they already have it locked in. And Dave was absolutely right in his video. Don't get mentally married to the concept art. The concept art really doesn't mean anything. It's also super vague, but this is a sales pitch to the city for zoning, okay? And that's why you're seeing what you're seeing. Now, a lot of fans, like I said a minute ago, a lot of fans are going to tell you there's not enough room in that Toy Story lot for a theme park. It's impossible. Absolutely impossible. You know what? Here, look, I'll prove it to you. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, so what we have here is California Adventure and the Toy Story parking lot. Okay, the acreage. Okay, that all the fans that know everything say there's not enough land. Okay, well let's break it down and see if that's the case or not. This is the acreage for California Adventure with the Grand Californian excluded. That's technically not theme park, so it's not included in this. If you don't include the Grand Cali, DCA has, as you can see down below, it's highlighted, 73.30 acres. The current DCA is 73.30 acres. Okay, and that's if you're also including the placemaker spot for the Avengers ticket to the right. So the current actual theme park for DCA is even a little smaller than this. Okay, now if you look over here, this is a Toy Story lot. It's 74.68 acres. There's plenty of room, you guys. There's plenty of room for a third park in the Toy Story lot. And that's exactly what will eventually go there. Disney's a smart company. Disney is a smart company. They're not going to blow 74 acres on more shopping. Okay? They're just not going to do it. They're absolutely not going to do it. So there's been this narrative out there by fans for a long time now that the Toy Story lot is just not big enough to house a third theme park. Well, here we go. I just proved it absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. It's absolutely big enough for a third theme park, and Disney would be extremely stupid not to make it a theme park. Look, it's very easy. If you want to build a resort, you want to build more shopping, you want to build more dining, it's much easier to kind of find or acquire 10, 15 acres to do something like that. It's a lot harder to find 74, 75 acres to build another theme park, right? So it's much smarter to utilize this huge chunk of land for a theme park. And if you want to do another downtown Disney somewhere around the resort, you can buy up a hotel or two and sort of, you know, build it there. Much easier to come up with 5 or 10, maybe even 15 acres than it is to come up with 75 acres for another park. So I'm telling you, it's absolutely big enough and it's absolutely happening. Now, is it going to happen in our lifetime? That's a whole nother story. I have no idea. I really, really don't. But eventually, I do believe in my heart of hearts that lot, that Toy Story lot, will become a third park. Disneyland Resort will have 3 theme parks eventually. And that's actually going to be a big boon, a big leap for the resort in becoming more of a tourist destination. I think once that third park comes, I think that's really going to make this whole resort really stand out as a tourist destination much more than it already does, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. But I want to hear from you guys and gals what you think of everything we talked about today. The housing butting up against that Disneyland Forward land, affecting the ambition, the potential ambition for the theme park expansions they want to add there. I also want to hear your thoughts on this Toy Story lot becoming a third park. We talked about a lot of great stuff today. Very exciting times ahead for us for the Disneyland Resort. I am really, really excited. I think Disneyland Forward will absolutely get approved. The signs are all there. I think it's happening. Maybe I'll have to eat crow. I don't know, but I don't think I'm going to have to. I think it's going to get approved. But thank you all so much for watching this episode of Orange Grove 55. And as always, have a wonderful, wonderful day.